So we're back to customer repairs. We're on the upper 50s. Aren't a lot of customer repairs in, which is good, because we've got a lot to get on with. But this is another trade repair. The trade customer's actually had it 15 years, and he's not been able to get it to work. Now, he knows what he's doing, but it's a rather tired looking Binatone 5-star. It's lost some of its stars, hasn't it? Right. And he can't see that it's ever been messed with, but he can't get any VCO lock. So this kind of thing is intriguing. It's a challenge. Now I can spend a couple of 40-minute sessions on a radio and I can't see what's going on. And I can pass it to Mr. Chip and he'll look at the circuit diagram and go, it's that. And I change it and he's absolutely right. And the opposite happens, you know, he can be struggling with something and I'll see it instantly. So sometimes just somebody else looking at it may come straight to the fault, and it doesn't mean that that person is no good. It's just you need somebody else to look at it. And the same happens when we're doing television things in the 80s and 90s. I've not even had a television since it went digital. I don't know why they can only keep the camera on the scene for 1/10 of a second. Flash, 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 picture, picture, picture. Oh, feel worn out looking at television for 30 seconds. Right. So, we know we're going to have a VCO lock problem. So I'm going to look. I'm going to put the soldering iron on. He's changed the phase lock loop chip just in case. I gave him some pointers over the internet, over the email. He doesn't think it's ever been messed with, and well, I'm going to start by looking for dry joints. I've had a change of plans. Before we do that, we'll switch it on and see. Let's go to channel 1 as if we're setting it up. I said channel 1, but I meant channel 40. We should be able to set the VCO for 4 volts. I'm not even plugging in aerial in. Not even bothered switching the test set on. So we use one of Alan's kindly donated leads for the earth. Test point far end of resistor 4, and we've got 6 volts. We're supposed to start with the receive. So that would be a correct lock point. I'm going to have to plug the test set in. Because to be honest, that looks like it's in lock. And then we need to do the same again, but this time with the trimmer capacitor. Which should be 4 volts. should be 4 volts as well. I think you've taped business radios. So receive 4 volts, transmit should be 4 volts, receive 4 volts, transmit 4 volts. Go to channel 40, go to channel 1. Should now have around 1.8, 2.3, which we have, and we should have the same on transmit, which we have. So as far as I can see, the phase lock loop is locked. So let's now do some proving. It's probably not transmitting. Tell you what, let's check PA out first. It's a nice little test. Pop this back to channel 20. And PA is 1, 2, third switch along. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Excellent. That's fine. So we'll now put this in the extension speaker socket. This is the external speaker, not the instrument speaker. And find which switch takes us back to CB, which is that one. So with my walkie-talkie, let's press transmit. Go into monitor. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's not transmitting. And it's not receiving. As far as I'm concerned, the VCO is locked. Has it got the right chip in it? LC7137, it has. Oh, there's an interesting one. No wonder he's struggling. So we'll pop the RF gain up. We'll make sure we've got that. Got no meter light on this. Delta tune to center. Put the signal generator on, and we'll put in, let's put picture in picture on, we'll put 27795 onto the signal generator. And we have absolutely nothing. So going back to the meter, have we still got the kind of voltage we'd expect it to be locked at? We have. We've got 4 volts. Is it adjusting with the channel? You know what, that's wildly out. 2, 4, 3, 4. It's not selecting the channels in the right sequence. So I don't think when it says channel 20 is channel 20. I've got a sneaking suspicion that channel 40 could be channel 40 because I've got a 4 volt block point. Let's just see that with the handheld. I don't think the set transmits. I think it's got a fault. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Ha! And I reckon that if we go to channel 1, it's also working. So let's change the radio to channel 1. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. And testing 1 2 1 2. I've actually got the roof aerial plugged in instead of the test equipment. So because all the work you do is done on channel 20, it's locking on 1 and 40, but it's not working on channel 20. Let's go back to channel 20. So select that on the radio. Nothing. Well, and that's what happens when I monitor that VCO voltage. So it's probably putting a code in that's out of lock. So we've got a dry joint or a blown data line, but he's changed to phase lock loop chip on the channel selector arrangement. So turn the set off. The best thing to do here is to actually put the meter on continuity, and let's see which one's at fault. I could look at the truth table in the service manual. We'll do it this way. That has got a broken piece of track. It's that one. So I'm going to put a wire link in. And that print's just come away. In fact, it's not just that. The channel selector switch, that pin is actually broken. Now, it's got a bent shaft. So we'll have to see whether we've got a scrap set we can take a channel selector switch off. But that's the fault. Anyway, pause the video. As it happens, I've got a scrap York 863 here. Very scrap York 863. This is how we bought it. It's had major silliness around the phase lock loop, but hopefully the channel selector switch is recoverable. Right folks, that's taken about an hour to do. So it now has a replacement channel selector, so it now doesn't have a bent shaft, which is bent the front. I've tried my best to kind of bend it back a bit. So that's broken. So it's had a big clunk. It's landed on the channel knob, and he hasn't noticed that it wasn't selecting all the channels, and the VCO was actually setting up fine. So if we've got a blank sheet of paper, no idea what the date is, we'll just put 23rd of May for everything. Charge him £1 for that. Right, now we'll come to the actual nitty gritty. So the first thing, meter lamp isn't working, PA function is working, the VCO is out of lock, and it's now 4 volts plus 4 volts. I'll set that up. So we're on channel 20, we'll go into transmit. Of course I've no idea where all these switches are, you know. I'll tell you what, I'll put this on with a couple of screws. It's probably in low power. So, tone, PA, transmit power. No, that's PA. That must be transmit power. That's better. So it's doing more than 3 watts. It's going to the 30 watt scale on the test set. It's doing 3.7. Take Alan's clip away. I'm going to put the channel selector switch knob back on because it's quite a pain to try and change channel just on the shaft. The channel 40 is 3.6 watts. Channel 1 is 3.6 watts. We go back to channel 20. We'll just do the frequency while we're at it. So it's 27. Not in the right mode. 79096. It's hardly really out. Let's reset that. Good. And at the moment we're drawing 1.24 amps. And in low power it's not working. Right, let's go through the transmitter. Have I pressed the wrong switch? I must have done. So tell you what, we'll put the bottom on. Let's just change the frequency of fraction. Okay. I'm back to the normal meter. It's actually come up to 4 watts on these. So I'll just make sure this is set right. Go as quickly as I can because it can't support this for long. That's already at peak. That's already at peak. And we're back to that one not being... That's strange that. Yesterday's Cybernet, which I haven't published a video of yet, had to use the wrong tool. It's actually broken, that's why. There's always something, isn't there? Right. Have we got a coil in our scrap set that we can take out? That's not got a core. That's got a wrong core. That's got a wrong core. Now, night seldom, and I think I bought some. We'll pause the video. Okay, back on with this. I've borrowed a core out of my own SMC Oscar 2. I'll have to order some. Right, we'll have a further go at tuning this. Okay, only just above. It's only just above 4 watts. So what we'll do, just adjust this one on the left till it just starts moving down, which is there, and then we'll just move. Oh, my tool's stuck in there. We'll just move this one anti-clockwise, just down. So see what we've got on other channels. Channel 40. 4 watts, channel 1, 4 watts. So it's worked out. Put it back to channel 20. And our transmit current is now 1.185. So that's come down now, it's tuned properly. So low power has no doubt got a fault, so go to the low power scale, see whether it's just a matter of cleaning the preset or whether it's going to be another one we need to change the preset on. quite want to do 400. Just check deviation while we're here, see if the meter's playing ball today. Wallow. I've got 1.5, but we'll double check it on the test set behind me. Just make sure that preset's where I want it to be. It is. Now the power meter, let's go back to full power. The meter's actually sticking. Probably all part of it being dropped. You know what? I have got the front half off, so I may as well do his meter lamp. See, when you train in electronics, they never say that products will have more than one fault. But the reality is they do. I'll take the retaining screws out of the front. I expect these are sellotaped together like they usually are. Pop the lid off. Still some tape holding this. What it is the scale has popped out. So it's a scale that's, as we can well expect, has been, because the set's been dropped or clunked or thrown in a skip or whatever they've done with it. That's why it's out. So it just goes back in We'll just temporarily power it up. Now that's still sticking, so have we got a slight bearing problem? Or is it sticking on the card? Yeah, it is sticking on the card. It's got a very slight bend in it, so I'm going to try and hold it. That seems to have cleared it. Right, while it's in bits, take this lamp out. And one of the wires has just fallen off the lamp, so again it's been bashed around so much. I've only got about 3 of these left as well. I'll put a new one in. And then we'll put that lid back on. Right, pause the video, I'll put some tape on it and we'll put that back together. Right, so we'll try again. Right, good. And as I said before we got so rudely interrupted, is when I key up, is it still going across to 4? I could say more or less. There we go. Right, let's look at the receive. So for the first time we'll plug the test instruments in. This will have had 5 hours spent on it by the time we're done. Right, let's look at the cyanide meter. See if the poltergeist has moved the camera. Let's see what we've got. Right, very good. So for 12 dB we've got 0.42. For 10 dB we've got 0.33. And for 20 dB we've got 1.7. the meter. You can take a reading now that it actually works. For S9 is one. No, it's not. It's 403. 2. 440 millivolts, microvolts. They work, they work, they work. Squelch. It's on the attenuator. So I want 100 microvolts for full squelch. So that's 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts, 100 microvolts. I want it's coming in at 300 microvolts. And for minimum, pull that to standby, turn the squelch down, set threshold, signal generator back on. Start that test again. Oh dear, that's not very good. 18 microvolts. I'm hoping it's because the detector's out. So we'll start with the detector. Put that up on the oscilloscope. It sounds out to me. Yeah. That really affects the squelch, so that's why that is. Right, turn the squelch down. Let's look at the cyanide. Turn that to... It's interesting. It's nothing like a sensitive now. That's because I've knocked the RF gain this time. Right. See what we can gain. Bit of something there. Bit of something there. Bit of something there. Put the biggest signal on. We'll do the IFs. Bit of something there. That's spot on already. The hidden one under the wiring harness. Is there. Just recheck that first one. There we go. Get a new reading. So for 12 dB, we've got 0.24. Which is rather good. 10 dB. .21, and for 120 we've got 1.7. We can't have. No, we haven't. We've got 0.52. Let's deal with squelch. Set full squelch. Opening now is 100 microvolts, so hopefully it'll be opening correctly now at the other end. So with the sets on with the signal generator on standby, set the threshold on the radio, put the signal generator back on. It's 1.3. And that's what happens when the detector in IF's out. Alright, well that's it. It just needs me to check the S meter, so let's look at S9. It's absolutely bang on. Absolutely bang on to the dot. So it's this preset, just to show you. So I'll check the deviation and then we'll put the lids back on. Alright, well I've checked the deviation, it was a little bit out. So I've dropped that 2.2 to 2.5. I'm just putting this back together and I don't seem to be getting anything out of this speaker. But it reads alright. Oh, I know. You've got a switch on the front, haven't you? Which is internal or external speaker. That'll be what's amiss. There's me faffing around thinking the worst. Of course the escutcheon's missing off the front. There's a posh word. It's caught me out. Speaker. Right. Let's put it on the aerial. See what buddies are out there. And we find the aerial. I'll do a couple of homemade aerials on Saturday. Outside. Hopefully much better performance than the one I did on Saturday. Right, we'll get these screws in. I'm really pleased that we got this back to life for him. I'm hoping he's got the escutcheon. As I've shown you before, I've got a scrap Binatone 5-star which we bought as a scrap set, and I even lent it Radio Cruncher. I don't know where that went. And the answer is actually over there. I'll just slacken that one off slightly. There's a bit of leeway to close the gaps. That's it. So unlike my York 861, this is complete, apart from that. Okay, so what have I done with one of his knobs? Is it over there? Whoa, there we go. That's Delta tune, isn't it? One and a Roger. Have I gone on to low power? Oh, that's high. One and a Roger.
But yeah, 10 o'clock now, we're this morning.
One and a Roger. No, nobody there. Right, there we have it. A very nicely performing Binatone 5-star. Back in the land of the living from a scrap set which has been in his shed for 15 years. Thanks for watching the Binatone 5-star Resurrection.